About 2.5 years ago, I sat in a lecture class doing some math under the desk on my phone, and I was looking at the tuition, 4 more years, and a degree that I wasn't sure I was even going to use. And I did something that really did change the trajectory of the rest of my life. I decided to drop out. Not because I was lazy, but because I partied too hard, but because I looked at the next 4 years and asked myself one question: is doing this really gonna get me the life that I want? Or am I doing this because this is what you're supposed to do? Right? If you ever ask yourself a question like that, whether if it's for school or a job, stay with me. This isn't a I dropped out and got rich video. This is just the real of what happened in my personal life when I decided to drop out of college and where I'm at 2.5 years later. This is going to be why I left, what happened after, and where I'm at today. So what's up, y'all? This is Aaron. Welcome back to Path to Profit. This is a channel, y'all, where I just talk about financial goals, teach people financial literacy of what I know. And I'm not a genius. I'm not where I want to be at yet, but just spread the knowledge that I do have right now. And this is my journey to escape the 9-to-5 life and build something that lasts forever. Let's get straight into it, man. First thing is going to be exactly why did I leave? Now, the first thing I want to kill is that I didn't drop out or leave because school got too hard or because I wanted to sit and laze around. I didn't want to focus on my future. That's not it at all, right? I left because I did the math of what 4 years actually is. Not just the tuition, but the time, right? That's 4 years. It's 4 years of compounding. I can be compounding my savings, compounding my skills, whatever it is, in real life situations. When I was in college, I didn't want to spend the next 4 years of my life being broke. I didn't have any money at all. And if I were to get a job, it would have to be an on-campus job because I didn't have a car. I had nowhere to drive at and go anywhere, so it would have to be an on-campus job where I'm making $7.50 an hour. I didn't have no money. I left college because I was tired of being broke. That is, first of all, that's the answer to why I left. Is because I was tired of being broke. I was tired of having no money in my account and having to ask my parents to send me money for groceries, for food, which they was always willing to help, and I'm very grateful for them. But I was tired of being broke. And I was in one of my lectures, and I was a business major, by the way, y'all. I was a business major. I went to school in Louisiana, Nicholls State University, and I was in a business class. And my future goal was that I wanted to run my own business, or I wanted to be the head manager of some type of production team or something like that. I just wanted to manage or own something, own a business, whatever it is. I'm really driven, especially now, but even at that time, I was really driven to make money. I like financial freedom. I want to be financially free. So I was in that lecture class, and our professor was, teaching a business class. And as he's lecturing, I'm thinking to myself, has this guy ever ran a business? Is this guy in a position in life where I want to be at? And I asked myself that question, and the answer was no. And I decided that day that I don't want to learn from someone that isn't in the position of life that I want to be at. So I left that class and I started doing my own research. And I ran into stocks, investing, day trading, and I ran across financial literacy videos, and I would watch individuals like Alux. They have a really good channel if y'all really want to learn more about money, managing your money, and investments. They're a great channel. I would watch people like Chris Sane, and a lot of them would mention how much you can build in such a short time if you really put the work in. If you really sat there and tried at something and didn't try to get rich quick, but you really stuck with it for a year, for 2 years, where can you grow at? Where can you get to? Your growth is going to be exponential. It's going to multiply if you keep building up that skill. So once I understood that, I was in my college dorm and I was talking to my dad on the phone, and we were just talking, and um, I let him know, yeah, I think I'd rather come back down to Florida and, just build something and just try something out, right? I can always go back to college if worse comes to worse, right? Push come to shove, I'm back where I'm at today, right? So that is why I left. Now, what happened after? When I decided to get back home, my parents greeted me with a hug. They wasn't disappointed at all. They understood what I wanted to do. They understood that my path was going to be different, and they supported it. That's one thing about my parents. They always supported me and everything that I wanted to do. So I'm extremely blessed and grateful to have them. So when I left, I kept my research up on financial literacy. I kept watching more YouTube videos. I became obsessed with this topic, obsessed with learning a skill. And what I learned was that one of the best skills to have is sales. So I went and I got me a door-to-door sales job. This is about 2 months after I dropped out. In the first 2 months, I'm working fast food places. I was working two jobs, and it just wasn't working out. I was looking at how much they were making and where are they gonna go at, and I said, no, this isn't for me. So my research led me to sales, and that is where stuff but stuff really changed in my life when I got into sales. So I dropped out in January of 2024. That's when I was actually back home. I started this first door-to-door sales job um, in March of 2024. So yeah, about 2-ish months after I came back. And as I was working this job, I'm getting rejected. I'm getting told no, and I hated it. But I was building a skill, and it was very uncomfortable in that moment. But this skill is now what led to um, lots of success. But I was working at that sales job. I sucked at it. I failed at it. And I didn't make any money in the 2 months that I was there. I went from that sales job, and then I went into an insurance sales job by complete accident. I applied for a job. I knew it was sales. I didn't know what kind of sales it was. In the interview that I went to, they explained, yeah, this is a 1099 insurance sales job. And I'm like, okay, there is nothing that I have to lose, right? When I started this insurance sales job, this is the first time I got surrounded by actual income and seeing the truth, having my mind open up to how much can you really make. At this job, people was coming into work in Ferraris. They was coming into work in Porsches, Porsche 911s. They was coming in Rolls Royces and Hellcats. And they would show us how much they made for the week, for the month, whatever it is. And that was their way of motivating us. They would have a lot of motivational speakers come to that job and would teach us about money, teach us about how to invest, when we make our money, where to put it. And mind you, at this time, I'm not making no money, right? I ain't making no sales. I was cold calling between about 1,000 and 1,500 people a day, and I wasn't making any real sales. Every time I did get a sale, the person had to be extremely healthy, or the private insurance was very expensive. So it was very difficult to get sales at that place. So I ended up leaving a little while back, but that place opened my eyes to this amount of money is possible. It's not just something you see on social media. Being around it, being near it, talking to these people really opened up something in my mind and my heart that made me understand that I can really pursue this, and this is a real outcome. These people are not no different from me. How do I now get from where I am at 19 to where they're at, right? So I ended up leaving that job, and I worked for another insurance company. This one was hourly plus commission. Now, again, y'all, I'm not rich. I'm not where I want to be at financially yet. Am I getting closer and closer? Yes, I am, but I'm not there yet. And that's what this channel is about. It's about getting to that point, right? So I ended up getting another insurance sales job, and it was $20 an hour plus commission. When I was working this job, this was my first taste of real money. I was doing great. Um, I was one of the best sales agents there, and ended up buying myself my first car within the first month of me working there. It's a 2022 Kia K5. I'm gonna try and show it to y'all on the screen. But that was my first taste of money, of something coming in that I've earned. I was getting commission, um, and that was about 6 or 7 months after I dropped out of college. I was making $20 an hour, have a health and life insurance license at 215, and I bought my first car. Fast forward to beginning of 2025, I felt as though I was in a crunch at that place, that I wasn't growing much at that place, that my growth there was finished. What the hell is that? It's a big ass ant. Hell nah. Alright, it was just a huge, big, nasty, fat ant that was crawling on me, bro. I had to get that thing up off me. But anyway, so fast forward to 2025. I've been working at this job that I was at, making 20 an hour plus commission for about, 6 or 7 months ish. Yeah, about 6 or 7 months. I think I started that job in July of 2024. In January of 2025, I decided it was my time to leave, so I put in my 2 weeks, and I started a new job. This was a more office job. I was making $25 an hour. So a year after I graduated with about six, so a year after I graduated with about 8 months of sales experience, I was making $25 an hour. And this job did not have commission. It was more of a desk job. I'm answering calls, more customer servicing, but I'm managing my money. I learned to save a little bit. I was investing in the stock market. I was day trading. I was trying something on the side to see what clicks, what works. And I was learning from these things that I was doing. I was learning the ability to sell. And fast forward to about 6 months later, I bought my first condo. So about a year and a half, about a year and a half after I graduated, I had a house and I had a car that I bought. And that was a massive milestone. And I was thinking to myself when I bought this condo that if I would have stayed in college, I would still be in my dorm. I would still be broke. I'd be a sophomore in college at that time. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'd be a sophomore-ish, junior-ish, something like that. I think I'd be a sophomore. Yeah, I've been a sophomore. And I was thinking to myself, I'd be a sophomore in college right now if I decided to stay, right? A year and a half after I decided to drop out, I had a condo and my own car. And I was thinking about what I've learned in this year and a half. I've learned a lot more about financial literacy. I've learned that it can really take you a year of locking in, of grinding, of focus to achieve something that you thought would have taken you 10 times as long. In reality, it doesn't take you as long as you think if you're consistent, if you show up every day. If you have a goal in your head and you know that you can achieve that goal, you can do it in a much shorter time than you think. When I dropped out of college, I did not think it would take me a year and a half from that day to own my own home, to live by myself, to have my own car. I didn't think that at all. But it happened. But it is possible. There's a big nasty bee right here next to me. I gotta get up. I'm not playing that. Oh, yeah, we not doing that, my boy. So anyway, it doesn't take y'all as long as you think. Now, today, wait, it doesn't take y'all as long as y'all think. And now fast forward to today. I'm 21 years old. It's been about 2.5 years since I dropped out. It's been almost a year since I've lived in my condo. And I've used the 3 years-ish of sales experience, 2.5-ish years of sales experience that I have to now do business sales, where I have a base salary. I have a bonus at the end of the year. My job provides me with health insurance, a 401k. And funny enough, the job that I work at right now, majority of the people that I work with, they have a college degree. They have a bachelor's. Some even have a master's. And I skipped all that because I had the experience. I went out there and I decided to go and get the experience instead of wasting, in my opinion, what I was doing. I would have been wasting 4 years on something that when I graduated, I probably wouldn't have gained a lot much, or I wouldn't be where I am today if I would have stayed there. And what makes it even worse is that right now, the job that I work at, if I decided to go back to college, they pay for it for me. They pay for everything for me. They would pay for up into a master's degree. Matter of fact, one of my colleagues just graduated with her master's. Congratulations to her. And it was fully paid for by the job that I work at. So instead of going into debt and spending those 4 years in books, again, y'all, this is just my personal experience. Okay, if you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be something that requires you to go to college, do it. Do whatever is on your heart to do. Do whatever it is that you feel as though will make you happy. At that point in time, I was in college and I was depressed. I didn't see a way going up. I didn't see a way for me to elevate myself. I didn't see any growth at all. So this is just my personal experience. If y'all want more videos like this where I just be real, if y'all want me to talk more about numbers, how much do I make, what are my bills, anything like that, comment that down below, man. I want this channel to be, I want to be authentic, I want to be real, I want to be open with y'all. Yes, I work a 9-to-5 job, but I am building something on the side. Okay, and I don't care how long it takes, but I'm going to build it, and I'm going to grow, and I'm going to keep learning. Appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to see you on the next one. Peace.